a realm of raw power and terrible choices. This is ground zero for logging chaos and chainsaw disasters. Welcome to SteelForce Channel. Chainsaws become incredibly dangerous when used by untrained weekend warriors. If you think a professional costs too much, wait until you see the price of hiring an amateur. A freshly rebuilt style 090 AV chainsaw faces its first real challenge. What you're seeing is pure, low RPM torque, as it drives a 4-foot bar straight through a massive oak root ball, cleanly separating it from the trunk. You can't help but hold your breath watching this. That loaded freightliner is perched on a narrow ledge, depending on a single tow cable. There's no room for error here. One small slip would be catastrophic. That suspension is definitely protesting. There's way too much weight on that load. It may look cinematic, but in reality it's just brutally hard work. Any log haulers watching this know the truth. Only those behind the wheel understand the grind behind scenes like this. Respect to the ones who keep it rolling. For those curious, this is a common forestry practice in Sweden used during replanting. The process, known as trenching, slices through the upper organic layer so seedlings can be set directly into mineral soil. That gives them access to essential moisture, improving survival rates and helping them establish quickly. The engineering on display here is seriously impressive, especially that rotor packed with up to 20 blades. The Viber 84 chipper is built to absorb the shock of 2-foot-thick logs without choking its 510 horsepower engine. Tested in Sweden on logging residue, it still pushed an incredible 36 tons per hour. No wonder Swedish loggers swear by it. Just watching this older gentleman at work is captivating. He's handling a chainsaw that weighs nearly as much as a small child, slicing through massive rounds of wood. The deep engine note, the blue smoke, and the spray of sawdust come together to create a scene filled with pure nostalgia. A fascinating piece of modern forestry tech. One moment there's a dense thicket. The next it's nothing but wood chips, like watching a real-life MS Paint eraser at work. It's wild how a rail, a chainsaw, and a little creativity can turn someone into a backyard sawyer. The whole concept is about controlling blade travel, and for light to medium logs it actually looks both efficient and budget-friendly compared to full-size portable mills. What's your take on it? A tree can surprise you faster than you'd expect. That ending totally blindsided me. It begins like a serious how-to, then suddenly finishes with a truck getting crushed.
That's a big tree.
She's massive. Using a Kuzby cut on a leaning, dying hardwood like this ash is highly debatable. Even if the operator argues it's safe and efficient with a 24-inch bar, the resulting barber chair proves the loss of directional control that comes from skipping a proper face cut. Stay safe out there. It really proves how much the right equipment can change everything. That John Deere setup makes the whole process look effortless. The wood never stops moving. Investing in advanced machinery clearly pays off when rough forestry work turns into a smooth, flowing operation. Impressive work. It's nearly 30 years old, yet it climbs like machines built today can't. LKT skidders have earned legendary status in European forestry for their agility. Just watch the footage and you'll understand immediately. Absolute beasts fighting the elements. Engines roaring, tires spinning, diesel hanging in the air. It's a long, brutal day of winching and wrestling with the snow. Large cedars often conceal rot at the core, pretty typical for a wet coastal environment. So predicting how they'll fall is never straightforward. Still, that Dutchman cut was executed perfectly. By using a stepped cut, he forced the tree to pivot and leverage itself during the fall. It really highlights just how complex and demanding old-growth logging can be. Forget the grinder for a moment. Watch that power broom work. I've never seen cleanup happen that fast. It clears everything away and leaves the lawn looking spotless, without disturbing it at all. Unbooming ranks among the most dangerous moments in all of logging.
That's a pretty long pipe you got there.
That's a smart approach to roadside maintenance. The operator simply swings the arm, grabs the wood, and feeds it straight in. No strain, no struggle. It eliminates the back-breaking labor and essentially replaces an entire crew with a single machine. It was just a hair's breadth away from disaster. Oak is infamous for behaving like this. The tension inside that wood is basically a loaded spring. When it finally releases, 1,000 pounds of timber can launch in an instant. That's genuinely terrifying. I'm amazed that homemade poker doesn't flex at all. Slamming a solid 3-foot stump with a 35-ton dozer puts enormous stress on the steel. Whoever welded that clearly understood how to build something meant to take serious punishment. He likely backed up fast and hit the brakes, letting inertia handle the unload. No costly dump bed needed for a 10-ton load. This driver clearly knows exactly what he's doing. You can see a perfect demonstration of the so-called dangerous chainsaw kickback. Be careful, man. That Stump Shear 1270 is really earning its keep here. A stubborn stump like this doesn't give up easily. You can see the machine applying controlled force, crushing and twisting roots that would stop most equipment cold. Power helps, but technique finishes the job. Just look at the size of that beech. You'd never think a tractor could even budge something that massive, let alone haul it through the woods. Yet here's the MB Track 1100 dragging that enormous beech log through the mud like it's nothing more than a stick. Yeah, the front end is coming off the ground like it's trying to lift off. All that weight dumped on the rear axle, on a snowy hill no less. What were they thinking? That's some seriously reckless driving.
Das kannst du anmachen.
The ideal machine for anyone who thinks they've got fingers to spare. It barely feels like a tool, more like the Arm Remover 3000 in action. The quickest way to wreck a car. Urban forestry really is a high-stakes balancing act. Poplars only last around 30 years before turning into ticking hazards, so finding rot in even one sets off alarm bells. Sometimes the only way to rest easy is removing the entire row. It's a hard decision, but safety has to come first. Those skidder tracks might look like a fun dirt bike challenge, just not when a 635D skidder is on the job. It climbs better than most 4x4 trucks I know. Basically, it's a tank disguised as a tractor, turning brutal hills into a casual Sunday drive for the logs. Man, seeing hands reach that far into the chute seriously makes my anxiety spike. That rotating head is what really changes everything. The ability to go from dropping a 40-foot tree to cutting logs on the ground without repositioning the machine makes this attachment insanely versatile and efficient. The chaos isn't over yet. The next catastrophic failure is already lined up. Click here to see it unfold.